Hi there and welcome back to the Headbangers Ball. I hope you're enjoying our coverage of the Sepultura tour in Berlin, and we will be returning to Max & Co. very shortly, but as you can see, a slight change of location. We have come to the city of Las Vegas to hook up with Cannibal Corpse. Yes, the band are back with their fourth album, The Bleeding. It was produced by Scott Burns at Morris Sound Studios in Florida, and it sees the band introducing new standards of brutality and extremity. Now, Las Vegas is the city that never sleeps. Entertainment, fun and gambling 24 hours a day. But can it handle Cannibal Corpse? Let's find out right now.
They think they know who I am. All they know is I love to kill. Face down, down on the ground. For me, for another is gone. For the Lord in the darkness. Look further than nameless. Turn around and let your gun. Help me by insect. She was so beautiful.
We are in the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps, 24 hours a day, gambling, entertainment, fun. Are they ready for Cannibal Corpse? Yes, we're out in Las Vegas to hook up with the band on their American tour. I've got Chris and Jack here with me, as you can see. So, here we are in Las Vegas. I can hardly believe it, actually. What's your view of the city? What have you been here before?
It's quite spectacular. No, we've never been here. It's pretty cool, though.
So what are you expecting at the gig tonight? What sort of people have been coming to the shows?
Oh, the craziest people you could ever imagine. You know, we're hitting cities we haven't hit before, so, you know, every city's different, but there should be some freaks there.
Has the tour been going well then?
Yeah, it's been going really good. You know, we've been having a really good turnout at all the shows, like Jack said, and a lot of people are responding well to the new record, The Bleeding, so.
Well, that's what we're here to talk about, Cannibal Corpse's fourth album, The Bleeding. And I was actually just going to ask you about your shows in Europe with Morbid Angel over Easter, because I believe you had a problem with censorship there. Could you explain exactly what happened?
Yeah, some lady over there, I guess equivalent to Tipper Gore over here, has kind of been trying to censor us in Germany for the past 3 or 4 years, and she finally accomplished that by having our show, or just us, canceled from one date in Stuttgart, and another, where was the other one? In
I don't know. They just canceled a bunch of songs that we couldn't play, you know, for another show. But
has that happened to you before in Europe?
No, actually it's the first time, so it's kind of a weird thing. We've, you know, always had a good time in Germany and playing for the German kids over there, but it seems like they're really, the government is, you know, taking a look at music in a negative way, you know, so.
Not a very healthy way to be.
It isn't, you know, it's definitely not a good thing.
So when you came to write the new songs for The Bleeding, did you at all take into account the issue of censorship in any way?
No, not at all. I just wrote basically what I felt in my gut, you know, and just wrote that on paper. We always just basically go about writing as like something that we want to hear ourselves, and putting it down like that, we don't really worry too much about what other people think.
From stars again, cold in the skin. From the ground, blood gushers, from the lonely mountain. It's a desecration, internal punctures. Blood vegetation. Choking, broken.
It wasn't really a point of, like, you know, going over the top of trying to top the last album. It was more or less of like songwriting that we wanted to concentrate on this album, writing good songs that stick in your head, you know, and the themes, you know, basically about, you know.
But I mean, do you think, how do you think you can progress? You can't just get more and more brutal every time. Do you think you're going to have to be like Slayer in some way, and that you're eventually going to come to the point where you're going to have to do something different because you can't take that direction any further?
No, I think like there's many faces of horror, and you can explore the different, you know, the different types of horror out there, and I think there's many things that are frightening, so I don't have a problem writing about frightening things. You know, things that frighten me are usually, you know, good enough to go by.
You say horror, but a lot of the themes on the album are what I would call more real, everyday type things. So did you want to have an overall theme of that?
No, I just basically went for a feeling, you know, try to get across a feeling of fright, you know, something that frightened me, or, you know, certain things that maybe excited me. I put down on paper in the lyrics and just maybe came across that way. I don't know.
Did you want to try and confront people's inner fears, and broach subjects that people wouldn't really want to deal with?
No, I just basically wanted to write good fiction, you know, good horror fiction, like any, you know, horror writer would want to accomplish something like that. And I don't know, I just think we came up with some interesting material to write about. So.
Jack, since the Tomb of the Mutilated album, you had done a lot more touring. So do you think that because the band had got a lot kind of tighter through doing lots of touring, did that make a difference when you came to record the album?
Oh yeah, it made a big difference as far as getting our new guitarist, Rob Barrett, getting him writing with us and stuff, and you know, just writing a perfect album. You know, before we had albums that had good songs, but they weren't all good songs. You know, in this album we think we got like all good songs, good songwriting. You know, we just keep emphasizing that. You know.
Now you also worked with Scott Burns at Morrisound, and sort of being devil's advocate here, I was just wondering, he does so many death metal bands. Why did you want to work with him? You obviously weren't concerned that you might end up with a slightly generic sound.
No, well, we've been working with him since the beginning. Yeah. He's done all 4 of our records, and we feel ultra comfortable being down at Morrisound and with Scott. We've said it a million times, he's like a 6th member in the band. He knows our sound. Mm-hmm. He accomplishes a great deal when we go into the studio and work with him, and no one really works harder than Scott Burns in the recording business. You know, no one that I've seen. You know, I've never seen any producer work 24 hours a day, and basically half the day is, you know, just free time. He works on it himself. He doesn't even care if he gets paid for half the stuff just because he wants it to sound good. So I mean, we feel as though we came up with an excellent sounding record, and Scott is about, you know, 60% of that, you know, just because he put in a lot of time during the production of the record.
And that enthusiasm must all rub off on you as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, when someone works that as hard as you do at creating the songs, you know, and he's sitting there behind the board for 24 hours a day, that just says a hell of a lot, you know, of his character. So.
Something else we should talk about is your part in the film Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, which is out now. How did that come about, and what kind of exposure has it given the band? Have you had any feedback from that?
Oh yeah, we've had a lot of feedback. Basically what happened was Jim Carrey, the star of the film, he's a big fan of the heavier styles of music like death metal. He likes a lot of hard rock and stuff, and he basically told the production company there at Morgan Creek that he thought we'd be a good band for the part that they had in mind, and we went ahead and did it. You know, they called up Metal Blade, and it was a real good time. We actually had a lot of fun doing the movie.
It's a very different experience, I would think.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was kind of helped too, you know. We had a little bit of experience going in filming the first video after that, you know, after doing that, going through that type of thing.
Well, that's what I was going to move on to next, actually, because it is your first video, Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead. And I was just wondering, why did you feel that the time was right to make a video?
Well, we actually wanted to do one for Tomb of the Mutilated, but, you know, with the busy touring schedule and just everything, didn't get a chance to. But, you know, with this album, it's really pretty much the right time, you know. It was about time, actually. We had something on MTV and all over the place, you know.
What sort of response have you had to the video?
Oh, a lot of kids have come up to us at the shows and really, like, you know, enjoyed the video and wondered if it was going to be on a few more times, you know. So, you know, nothing but a good response for it.
Same here in Europe. We've been playing it and we've had a very good response. But we were at all concerned that your fans are very dedicated, very enthusiastic. Were you at all concerned that they might say that you were selling out in some way to make a video?
No, not at all, because we basically followed the storyline of the song, and you know, we feel as though it's a pretty frightening video.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were just lucky that nothing was edited out of the video, and it was taken at its original, you know, piece.
Because that is always a worry, that you never really know how a video is going to turn out. And what I would say about the video is it's very clinical, and I think that suits the song very well.
Yeah, it basically just follows the storyline of a guy being near-death experience, lying on the table, and he's actually alive still, but no one knows it. So.
There's a little tear coming out of his eye at the end. It's very spooky, actually. It kind of gets to your brain more than anything else as well. Now, you guys are coming over to Europe a little bit later on this year, aren't you? Now, that's the headlining situation, is it?
Yeah, most likely. It's being worked on right now. We don't know anything about it, but, you know, September-ish.
And is that your first headlining shows in Europe?
No, we've done some smaller tours where we've headlined, but this will hopefully be an upscale tour, and we'll try to reach a lot of different places.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for talking to me on Headbangers Ball, Cannibal Corpse, new album, The Bleeding, and right now we're going to go into the video for Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead, and then after that we'll be returning to Berlin and Sepultura Tour.